Lucille Whipper is keeping busy these days, from serving on the board of the International African American Museum to attending a race discussion at Emanuel AME Church. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with her one-on-one. Miss Lucille,
Yes,
it is so good to see you again.
it's good to see you again.
Yes, I appreciate this.
Yeah.
The last time we did an interview for Quintin's Close-Ups was back in August 2nd, 2016.
Really?
And at the time,
Okay.
I called you a trailblazer. You still are.
Oh, well, I don't know. I'm just going down the trail right now.
Oh,
Okay.
catch me up about what's going on with you right now.
Well, I don't know how to describe it. It would be nice if I could relax and feel that everything is going on all right. But with the changes happening in our country today, it keeps you on the alert.
Talk to me about those changes in your mind about this country.
Well, I think the basic cause is the fact that all citizens who are eligible to vote don't vote. And we have a lot of people that feel that they'll let somebody else do it. And we see the results of that. And so I feel that many citizens of the other race or economic thoughts, feeling that the last administration was too far out of line, they made a concerted effort to vote and to make sure that their lives were not changed too much. And it left those who were in power with too much contentment.
Let me turn you to really last week. This appeared on abcnews4.com, and it talked about Mayor Riley's discussion class at the Emanuel.
Yes.
It says this: former Charleston Mayor Joe Riley, now an assistant professor, took his class on a field trip Thursday. His goal was to share lessons from one of the darkest nights in the city's history, in a lecture titled The Emanuel Massacre and Post-Racial America. You were there along with Jonathan Green and a couple of prominent people of Charleston. When you were listening to what former Mayor Riley was saying, what was playing back in your mind?
Well, I had been on one of his panels at the Citadel,
Right,
with the class at the Citadel, and I've known him for a long time, yeah. And I think, and I say bravo to him for trying to leave a legacy of togetherness and what can be done if we all try to keep the same ideas and philosophy about what this country can be. And I really say bravo to him in trying to reach out to the millennials.
right.
I've had experience with DeBar and others to express my opinion that each generation has its own challenge. And we have to know something about our history, what went on in the past, how each generation accepted a challenge in its own way to bring about the quote American dream. But I believe that what former Mayor Riley is doing is to reach out to younger people. And you know, there was a time when he was not the mayor,
Right.
but he served in the state legislature along with Herbert Fieldings and others. And he has always exemplified crossing back and forth across, quote, racial barriers.
You talk about legacy. Let me take you downtown. Obviously, you know, the fundraising stages are still going on for the International African American Museum.
Yes.
When you go to 2020 in your mind, what do you hope to see the vision for the International African American Museum to look like?
Well, we have an excellent drawing, and knowing former Mayor Riley, he sought out the best with experience in building museums.
Sure.
And so the general architect built the museum in Washington
Right.
on the Jewish experience.
Right.
And he is the general architect. And he reports back, he gathers information, and along with him are architects that specialize in a particular area of African American history. And I think that's going to be great. I am just so fearful when we think of the national African American history that we're going to lose some artifacts that we want to stay here that will go to Washington. And hopefully that the community would take a hold and do what it can financially to see that in a couple of years that the ground is broken and that we move forward.
You talk about artifacts. What are those artifacts?
Well, the artifacts are relics that would show evidence of how we lived during a certain time. And it could be like, for instance, the National Museum got Esau Jenkins' bus.
Right.
And so there are still a lot around and things that we just sort of take for granted and don't realize it represents our history.
You know, we were talking over the phone, you know, I was in Starbucks editing another interview for Quintin's Close-Ups earlier, and you told me you actually were stuck in traffic in Mount Pleasant.
Yes.
And that had me thinking, what are your thoughts right now when you think of the roads, 526, and the gas tax here in South Carolina as far as the gas tax debate?
Well, I really feel that a tax, a gas tax, could certainly be helpful because we are expanding and we're growing, and I don't think the answer is to say to our citizens, oh no, you can't grow this way and you can't grow the other way, to put that type of restriction. But more planned growth would be helpful, and money has to come from somewhere, and just not on the backs of the lower economic group.
Okay.
One of the things that it was very funny when I served in the House is that I drove a Mercedes finally, and my very close friend who's now deceased, Juanita, drove a Mercedes, and we always fought to increase the tax on new cars. It was like $600. I think it's still $600. No matter if you buy just a Honda or if you, whatever you buy, it's $600.
Right.
Now, to me, somebody is benefiting or being punished by keeping that particular tax at such a low level.
Well, also too, let me talk to you about something that's going on right now. There's somebody that you personally know that's in the House of Representatives, Representative Lucille Whipper. And according to fitsnews.com, a political website, they basically said, hey, he wants to, you know, move away from the House of Representatives and become a magistrate. What are your thoughts about his future, Seth's future in your mind?
Well, he hasn't talked to me about it, and Seth is a very independent thinker. He's dropped a lot of things before me that he's thinking about. And as with all of my children, they have independent minds.
Yes.
And if they ask me, but it is very difficult for one person, an attorney in one person office, he and his sister practice together.
Right.
But you notice that you hear more about attorneys that's in a corporate office.
Mm.
His sister Cheryl was once affiliated with a corporate office. But if you want to be in charge and you have a small office, finding efficient support as far as secretarial staff and so forth, it's a challenge.
Mm.
And I heard him say something about being a magistrate. It means he wants to be home, and that he would be able to add to living, be in his community, and probably make a better contribution in the community.
Mm.
And he does that. You don't hear a lot about him on the state level, what he's saying on the state level, because he, practically knows all of the people in his district by name, first name.
That's right.
That's what he does. So I think you do what your heart and what you feel is how best you can serve. Mm-hmm.
Well, the Honorable Lucille Whipper, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Well, thank you for asking me. I didn't think I was still on your radar.
You're still important to us in this community. We thank you for that.
Thank you for asking.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
For your support.
Oh, anytime.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.